Good morning, everyone. Scott Zambelli here with Odd Musings. And as you can tell, it's just me today running solo as the other half of our team, Brett Pinson. He's been out traveling the country doing the Colorado Springs Comic-Con this past weekend, which is always a great show that we like to have a presence at for our Bardstone Publishing. If you don't know about Bardstone Publishing, check us out. We have a TikTok page as well as other things. I am simulcasting right now on my TikTok account, giving that a test run as well. But anyways, yeah, so Bardstone Publishing, bardstone.com, if you want to learn about our various comic books. Crimson Shadows is our flagship series that is headed up by me. But we also have a number of other amazing series like our Poe series by Kevin Meinert, and Brett has his own series with Boomtown Scabs, The Expendables, and other things as well. So in addition to that, we do a number of other things. But first, I have some ads to read really quick. Our first sponsor is Loringer Family Chiropractic. They're located in Belleville, Michigan, and Dexter, Michigan. So if you need chiropractic care, we highly recommend them. Their Belleville location, 734-697-4244. And their Dexter location is 734-426-3994. Brett's been a patient of theirs for a long, long time. And he can't say enough good things about them. I've had the pleasure of using them myself for my daughter. She had some issues years back, but for where I live, they are about an hour away. So we have since using them, we have found a great chiropractor in our neck of the woods where we live. But give them a shout out if you live in the Belleville/Dexter area. They will take great care of you. Then in addition to that, we also have, let me pull up the screen on our podcast here. We also have share. There we go. Team Titans Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Even though we utilize the latest in tools and technology to maximize your home buying and or selling experience, we never forget that relationships are our number one priority. We put you first, the client. What does that mean? For most people, they think, well, don't you just want to sell the highest price always? Not always. I mean, you want to net the highest. That's the key. And sometimes there's different strategies involved in how to net you the most money. And that doesn't always necessarily mean listing at the highest price possible. So anyways, we just want to let you know we're here for you for any of your real estate needs. My number, our team hotline, 586-232-5144. That will reach either myself or my partner, Jill Webler, and we'll take great care of you. There's a lot going on with the real estate market, so you could navigate it on your own, but more times than not, with how fast things are shifting, you might miss the boat and actually cost yourself far more money than you think. All right, so let's give a quick update to everyone and what's been happening these past weeks. So as I said, Brett is on his way home right now from Colorado Springs. So I'm handling the show alone. Those who know me, though, know I had a little incident over the weekend, this past weekend. So I'll cover the incident and then what led up to it and the experience after as well. And then we'll get into some other maybe prevention talk. So what is it that I am referring to? I kind of led with it and it's in the comments, but I had a heart attack. That was unexpected. So let me pull up. I've got a website regarding heart attacks here that I'll put up once I'm ready. It's this is the heart.org, and it's so that's the site I'll be using for my primary information that I'm going to share on the screen through the website. TikTok, you won't be able to see it, unfortunately, but you'll be able to hear me talk. So long story short, this past Sunday, early Sunday morning, so that was, well, I shouldn't say this past Sunday, the Sunday before, it was August 20th. August 20th, I woke up with, I can't fully, it's hard to say. I can't fully say what happened because part of my memory is not really there. It's made it so, from late Saturday up till about Wednesday, so Saturday the 19th, sometime late Saturday the 19th, my memory goes away. My next memory is like, I believe it's Wednesday morning on the 23rd. It might be Tuesday night, the 22nd. So we're talking about a week ago when I finally woke up. No idea what happened. So when I woke up, though, let me share. Where's the? It just takes me a moment. I'm gonna post some pictures here on the website here. Present. Top screen. There we go. Now I can present the other one. These are on my Facebook page, some photos I had posted. So I'll put those up on the screen just so, because I don't think it does it justice to just talk about it. So evidently I woke up early on Sunday morning around somewhere between 3 and 4 p.m. and obviously knew something was wrong. My personal security camera at my house records me leaving the house roughly 3:45, 4 o'clock, something like that. And I drive off. The next thing I know it from talking to the hospital is I went over to Troy Beaumont Hospital, who did a phenomenal job with me. I drove there at about 4 in the morning, found a parking spot, get out of my car. And when I am on my way through the parking lot, I'm walking up, on camera, they saw me collapse. So I collapsed in the parking lot. And in doing so, in seeing that, they rushed people out to me, and they were able to get me and bring me in. I don't know the details, like if they worked on me in the parking lot or what. I don't know those details. But what they did tell me is my heart was not beating at that time. And I was technically dead for at least 10 minutes is what they told me. They had to perform CPR. That wasn't working. And they then had to resort to using the paddles to shock me back up. They also had to intubate me and to clear my airwaves, my throat, so I could breathe, I guess. So through all that, that's a traumatic thing, but I have no memory of it, so I can't really speak to it. From a surprising standpoint, though, had people not told me all that happened, I wouldn't even known. I mean, I have bruises. I have some really dark bruises on me in different spots where I fell, hit my hip. Thankfully, I hit my hip because it looks like I fell, hit my hip, then hit my elbow, and then landed on my face. So on my face, I had cuts on my eyebrow, my nose. They had to put stitches here, which you don't really see that well, but they put some stitches here that are dissolvable. And thankfully, the rest of my body seems to have taken the brunt of the energy of the impact, because I didn't bust out my teeth or bust my nose or my jaw. So thankfully for that, everything seemed to work out. So anyways, with that said, pretty much they revived me Sunday morning, but from Sunday to Tuesday, I was pretty much on a ventilator and them treating me. Sometime, I believe Tuesday, they might have taken me off Monday. I don't know the details of the exact days. Sometime by Tuesday, I was definitely off. Somewhere between Tuesday and Wednesday is when I started coming to. From talking to Jill, it sounds like on Tuesday, I actually, they would have had the tube out on Tuesday, because it sounds like I spoke to her a few times, or to my parents, and it was like my short-term memory wasn't working yet. So I would ask certain questions and they would answer them. And then like 10 minutes later, I would ask the same questions again. So at that time, my short-term memory wasn't quite functioning, but the systems were turning back on. So since then, that's when Wednesday though I felt good, and but that's where I got the news of what actually happened. It turns out they did have to do CPR. They had to shock my heart back um, to be active, and intubate me. Ever since then, I do have it's a little bit sore in my throat still, so I don't, I'm sure the process of shoving a tube down someone's throat who's not actively awake, I'm sure that causes some scraping or something inside. So there's probably a little bit of healing that has to go on there. But short of a little bit of soreness, I'm fine. I'm not having any problems swallowing food or eating or drinking or anything like that. So I feel fine otherwise. And like I said, the surprise to me though was when I found out about having the CPR, because I've heard stories how the process of CPR, they could break your ribs and or bruise your ribs, and you can have a lot of pain and feel like you were like in a car crash. I feel fine. I don't even feel anything from it. So thankfully, you know, I chalk it up to the Lord protecting me overall, but definitely the medical staff did such a great job of bringing me back that, in my before and after picture that I showed, it's just a few days later, I'm up walking. Had more energy than ever. And they did reveal they also put a stent in my heart. And to do that, they go through your leg in your quad muscle there. There's an artery that runs up the side of the leg, up through the groin, up towards the heart. Sounds like they went up through there to enter into the heart, and they put the stent in there, and then to help open up the ways. So with that said, that was my overall experience. Not much to report. But what led up to those days? So a little backstory on me. Well, I'll do what's leading up, and then I'll give my further backstory medically with other things that have happened over the years for me. Earlier in that week, so probably about 2.5 weeks ago from today, I started feeling a discomfort. I don't know how to word it, but in my upper chest, my shoulders, and my neck, it was a strange sensation. It was like a pressure. I looked up online, am I having a heart attack? And things I looked up, like saying like about having numbness in the arm, for instance. I wasn't getting that. Some people talked about it feeling like indigestion. I didn't feel that way. So a number of the things I pulled up just didn't, it wasn't fitting the, how it felt. It didn't feel, I don't know, maybe my interpretation just was different. I don't know, but I'm flipping through some pictures here. My friend Darren's stopping by here, who saw me in the hospital. That's, of course, when I was feeling better. Here's some pictures of the bruises. I've got like really dark bruises here. I'll just show you a couple spots. I have more, but like up here, they're starting to break up and go away, but this was like pure black before when I first had them. I have that on both arms. You can see how dark those were. That's on my side. And there's there's me. Here, can I show it? It's going to be too much of a pain to put it on the TikTok screen. I got to figure out how to work it better for the TikTok screen. But anyways, picture shows me all scraped up and and that stuff. But having a good time. Got to enjoy it while you can, being there. So anyways, so leading up to it, I had this general discomfort, like I said. And the websites I was pulling up at the time was telling me the stuff that it listed to go immediately to the ER. I didn't feel I was feeling that, but I definitely felt something was wrong. And I probably should have gone right away. And I probably would have, but the difference for me was my regular I'm self-insured as a realtor, as a self-employed person. So I have a high deductible I have to cover. And so there's a huge cost difference to me if I go to the ER for something like this, or if I go to my general doctor to get testing. So I already had my annual physical scheduled with my doctor for this week. So I'm like, well, my symptoms aren't matching up with the must go to the hospital now list. So I I'll just wait it out and see how it goes. One of the things I read, and maybe I should have gone anyways. Well, in hindsight, I should have gone anyways. But one of the things I read was it could be pericarditis or something like that. I'm saying it wrong. I know I'm hacking it up, but it said if you shift to your stomach and the symptoms go away, it could be like water on the heart or in the lining of the heart. And while it's serious, it didn't necessarily have to go to the ER immediately. So I tried that, and for like 2 nights, I felt like that worked. And I'm a stomach sleeper naturally, so I slept fine. But evidently, that Saturday night, I don't think it worked anymore. And I don't remember the conversation, but from talking to Jill, she says I told her I was actually having discomfort in my arms at that point, like numbness. I don't remember that part. But her memory is far clearer than mine, especially for that time period, because everything is mush. So, like I said, I evidently went to bed that night at home, and then in the middle of the night there, woke up, went to the hospital. That's when I had my cardiac arrest. Fast forward now I'm in the recovery phase. I feel amazing. It's crazy how amazing I feel. I actually had way too much energy when I got home a couple days ago. I couldn't even fall asleep. I had such energy I've never had before. So I don't know if that's because of the stint allowing more blood flow. I don't know if that's the blood thinners just allowing more oxygen to flow, but whatever it is, it's just like I'm just like wired, and I'm supposed to be resting, and I'm like not falling asleep till 2 or 3 in the morning. Normally I go to bed like 11, 10, 11. I'm not a late person naturally, but 11ish. But I'm a morning person, so I'll wake up like 5 o'clock, 5:30 on a regular basis. And but ever since I got home, I've just been like wired with energy. Like I enjoy running. I want to go run right now, but um, what is this? You taking song requests? Do I look like I'm taking song requests? Somebody on TikTok is asking if I'm taking song requests. No, I am not taking song requests. Anyways, that distracted me. Here's some of the side effects, though, I'm feeling from this event. So, evidently, being dead for 10 minutes or so, it does have an effect on your brain. Mentally, I feel fine. Um, Intellectually, everything's there. But this is what it feels like, and I'll describe it to you guys. Think of like inside your brain, all your points of knowledge, right? And they're all like these little dots everywhere. Well, over your lifetime, the synaptics pathways you form, you have all these lines like spider webs connecting everything to all different points. So when you're working, you naturally have these pathways where your thoughts can flow from one idea to the other, to the other, to the other without problem. So like for real estate, for instance, I can write up a deal, work with the client, and I can do the multitasking, do everything all at the same time. And I'm very efficient, very fast. But what I do notice now is what it feels like is all those points of data are still there, but it's like somebody erased all the spider webs that connect all the dots. And I have to rebuild those synaptic lines to do it. So while I still know everything, it's if there's two things going on at the same time, I'm finding it's very hard to focus. So I'm having to just say, okay, I guess time to do things one at a time. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Like I said, intellectually, I still have all the knowledge, but I am having to think it through more than I used to. Before, everything was just bam, 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 bam off the top of my head like that. Now it's like, okay, focus, concentrate. I still know the answer, but I can't just whip it out like that. I have to really concentrate. And like I said, if I have a search going for one client and working on ads for another client, I have to put one aside focus on this, finish it, and then move on. Because if I interrupt the task halfway through to move on, I'm finding it's hard to restart too. Like, oh, where was I in that process? So there is a definite side effect to the whole process there. But from everyone I talked to, that's just going to take time of, it's retraining the brain is what it is. I didn't lose any information up there. I'm just having to draw new connecting points between all the dots. So I just got to be patient in that. As somebody who likes to do everything and get it over with, I'm a very type A personality. Maybe this is God's way of getting me to just maybe enjoy life a little, maybe don't do everything so fast and all at once. So who knows? But so that's been pretty much the only side effect of the whole experience. I'm on a number of medications. I've got a follow-up appointment with the cardiologist. So we'll be reevaluating a lot of things as time goes on. I believe there's some kind of cardiac physical therapy that they want me to sign up for too. So that'll all be covered once I meet with the cardiologist, which should be very soon. So that's been my fun over the this last week here and where I've been. A lot of people want to hear what's going on. So I think so many of you, my daughter put together a GoFundMe. So many of you donate to that. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Thankfully, we've been having a really good real estate year, and I've been able to shore up my HSA accounts and all that. So we'll see what the final bills are that come out. But on the plus side, if I max out my deductible, I'll have to make sure my doctor orders every test I can qualify for now that I'm turning 50. Get that all done for the rest of this year since my deductible will be fully met. Yeah, and I'm turning 50 this year. Can you believe it? That's crazy. But what else should I cover? Oh, let's pull up the actual website from about the heart attacks and the symptoms and what to look for. So reading a list like this might be a little different now for me compared to prior to having it. So I'm going to pull it up on the screen here. All right. So as I said, I'm getting this information from heart.org for those of you on TikTok who can't see the screen. This is about heart attack and stroke symptoms. So the biggest thing is to catch the signs early. It talks about chest discomfort. I mentioned I had that. Most heart attacks involve discomfort in the center of chest that lasts more than a few minutes or may go away and then return. It can feel like uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, fullness, or pain. That's really where I think I misinterpreted it, because here I think they actually define it better than the website I did. They talked about pain, and it wasn't a pain. Like I didn't feel like somebody was stabbing me, or it was just this discomfort that sat in the center of my chest, to my shoulders, up through my neck into like my lower jaw here. And it was like, it just felt like almost like somebody was holding me tight. That's almost what it felt like. So, I can comment from Jennifer. Yeah. I love when they say, don't be stressed out, and then they send you the bill. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. The bill will definitely stress you out. That's a really good point. Thankfully, like I said, I've been very diligent about shoring up my HSA account, keeping that money funded. So I should be, if I don't have everything to cover the full amount of the deductible, I'm very close to it. So very grateful for that. Some of the other early signs, discomfort in other areas of the upper body. This can include pain or discomfort in one or both arms, the back, neck, jaw, or stomach. For me, it was just the neck out of that list and my upper shoulders. Like I said, from talking to Jill, it sounds like Saturday I might have been starting to feel it in my arms, which I'm guessing from my conversation with her is probably why I finally Sunday morning decided I can't wait for that doctor appointment that I'm waiting on. I got to get somewhere now. Shortness of breath. Overall, my breathing was fine. there was a discomfort, like I said, but I mean, I definitely didn't feel like go running a marathon, but I wasn't having breathing problems. And then some other possible signs to look for include breaking out in a cold sweat, nausea, or lightheadedness. And I didn't have any of those. So for me, like I said, the way I interpreted this was, well, I think something is happening, but I think I can hold out till my doctor appointment this week. So that was my rationale. Obviously, I was wrong, and should have probably just gone in right away. Um, let's see. Another thing this website talks about, symptoms may vary between men and women. Um, so, as with men, women's most common heart attack symptom is chest pain, angina, or discomfort. But women may experience other systems that are typically less associated with heart attack, such as shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting, and back or jaw pain. And of course, don't hesitate to call 911. That's an important one. I didn't listen to that. Evidently, it's frowned upon to drive while you're dying. So, in all seriousness, I probably should have called 911, but honestly, I don't think I think in that moment, your head is kind of just, my thought process is very limited. I don't think I was thinking of options. I think it was just a very direct, fight or flight mode where, okay, this is wrong, need to go. And I don't think deep level thinking was occurring at that point. As I'm guessing I was in the the hospital isn't that far from me, so if I had dropped that fast, I was probably already in the process of maybe losing oxygen or ability to think coherently in my brain. So yeah, so that's the list there. When it talks about, let's see, angina / chest pain, let's see. So this is what I think I was experiencing that I didn't quite understand. Angina is not a disease, it's a symptom of an underlying heart problem, usually coronary heart disease, also known as coronary artery disease. There are many types of angina, including stable, unstable, microvascular, and angina caused by a spasm in the coronary arteries. Angina usually happens because one or more of the coronary arteries is narrowed or blocked. This is also called a ischemia, and I believe that's what they told me I had. Once I go to the cardiologist and have my full update, I'll know for sure. But I believe, if I remember correctly from Wednesday morning when I talked to the cardiologist, in the hospital, like I said, I was still in the recovery mode. I believe that's what they said I had. So there's different types of angina: stable angina, unstable, microvascular, and vaso. He or she will want to find out if it's angina, and if it is, whether it's a stable or unstable. If unstable, you will need medical treatment to prevent a heart attack. So I'm guessing that's the kind I had there. Your healthcare professional will most likely perform a physical exam and ask about your symptoms and ask about your risk factors, such as family history of heart disease and other cardiovascular conditions. Hot fudge sundaes and, Reese's peanut butter cups here and there. But overall, I mostly drink water. My biggest vice is probably coffee in the morning. As far as food goes, overall, I think I tend to eat healthy. I eat a lot of grilled chicken when I can, um, things like that. I do like butter on my toast, and I do like to cook with butter, but I tend to only use it on certain meals. Overall, I tend to not use butter. Um, you know, I don't. I very rarely eat fast food. I try to stay. I enjoy red meat, hamburgers, and things like that, but I try to keep that down to only like once a week. So overall, pretty healthy. I run regularly. Jill and I like to. We tend to lately. We've been trying to get about 16 miles a weekend. when we were back doing marathons, we were doing 100 miles a month easily. But we've been building ourselves back up, during the last 2 years with COVID and everything hitting the country. We kind of fell out of our rhythm of our run. So we've been doing a good job of getting that back. So I run regularly, feel great. Can't wait to get back to that. But some of the treatments for angina they'll do if they think you have unstable angina or that they think it's related to a serious heart condition. The following tests and procedures will probably be recommended: EKG, which is an electrocardiogram, a stress test, blood tests, chest X-rays, coronary angiography, cardiac catheterization, and computerized tomography, angiography, whatever that is. Those were the things I was holding out for my doctor to see if we could get these tests done. That's what I was hoping to do. So let's see if there's any other topics to cover really quick here. Understanding your risks to prevent a heart attack. Let's cover some of these bullet points here as well. Here's Ashley. Ashley's my daughter. I get angina attacks sometimes, so it's difficult to tell if it's stable or unstable when it's occurring. Then you need your doctor to run those tests I just read off. So that's important to do. So call your doctor and let them know that, especially with your family history. You now have to, every time you go, you got to tell them that your dad had a heart attack, along with other family members we have. So understand your risks to prevent a heart attack. We'll go through this list real quick. Know your risk. Whether you've had a heart attack or stroke or blockages in your arteries, heart, neck, or leg. So if this is regarding family history. So whether you or your family has had that. Other risk factors include age, your sex, if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, if you're overweight or obese, and if you smoke. Most of those don't apply to me. I do have a little bit of high blood pressure. I do take a medication for, and overweight. I am overweight according to medical charts, but I'm probably average compared to most people. And then you factor in my lifestyle of running and everything, I do really well there. As far as alcohol, drugs, and that stuff, honestly, alcohol, at most, I have like 2 drinks a year at most. I don't enjoy alcohol, so it's rare that I ever drink that. Drugs, don't do drugs other than I got tons of prescribed ones now that I do there. Another risk factor is if you're between the ages of 40 and 75. Well, as I said, I'm turning 50 here, so that's definitely a factor, I guess, in potential heart attacks. Traditional risk factors. This kind of covers what I just did. Smoking, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, overweight, or obesity. Enhancing factors, family history. So if you have other family members, parents, grandparents who've had heart attacks, your chances are higher. If you got high cholesterol, your chances are higher. Chronic kidney disease, if you have inflammatory conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, that can increase your chances of a heart attack. History of preeclampsia or early menopause, that can do it. That can put you in heightened risk. Certain ethnicities have higher heart attack risk. Here they only mention one. They say, for example, South Asian ancestry. So I guess South Asians are more likely to have heart attacks, it sounds like. I don't know what the other... It'd be interesting to look at the chart and see how that plays into it. And then your triglyceride levels and all those things. So, but definitely smoking is a big one. Vaping, so many kids now want to vape. Vaping is very bad and can lead to it. So there you have it. That gives you kind of a rundown of all those things that are from heart.org. So I'll give you a little bit of my past history as well. Really brief. So this is my first time having a medical issue when I was much younger, around the age of 14, I started having severe pain in my joints and just mainly my joints all over. And I was having swelling and pain in my joints. And after extensive visits to many, many doctors, we finally found a doctor who suspected I had lupus, systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE for short. And yes, I ended up having that. And so I went for about 20 years, from 25 to, well, I mean, it would take me to 2010. So minus, so for 23 years, I had lupus. And through that time, I had to have every time they would try to take me off the medications, wean me off, I'd have another flare up and I'd have to go back in. I would have chemotherapy treatments and just was on high dosages of many medications that you're not supposed to be on for a long time. But for 23 years, I was on these meds. And so we, in 2000, late 2009, early 2010, I was in a situation where I lost my health insurance. And at that time, after 23 years of being treated nonstop for lupus, I just had to pray and say, Lord, you're my doctor now. I'm no longer doing this. And overnight, I stopped everything. I couldn't afford my medications. I didn't have the insurance to go to the doctors. I just stopped everything and just said, Lord, you're my physician. And what came back was to fast. The Lord's answer to me was to do a 3-day fast. And I have to admit, I didn't like that answer. I never did a fast. I didn't see the point in it. I'm like, Lord, what's skipping a meal going to do? And plus 3 days, come on. I can't even skip my nighttime snack at 8:00 at night. I'm not skipping 3 days. And so that's what came back to me, is to do a 3-day fast. So I did it. All you can have is water. And that's it. So you can also have black coffee or black tea. But that's it. So that's what I did. I did my 3-day fast and left it in God's hands, and never had a lupus flare up again in my life. Now, the medicines I'm on, you're not supposed to stop suddenly, so I'm not recommending people to do that. I felt I had very clear direction from the Lord to do this. So I'm not saying for you to do this. But what I am saying is the whole reason behind the fast, they're now starting to discover, is a fast will act as almost like a stem cell transplant. When your body is going through a 3-day fast, it will start to consume the bad cells in your body first. So it will first consume the bad fat that you have in your body, but it will also consume the bad and defective immune cells in your body. And then your body will produce fresh ones to replace it. So it acts as a stem cell transplant, is what I've been reading more recently. So I think the Lord gave me directions on how to heal my body, is what I fully believe. Doctors at the time did not believe in that. Nobody believed in what I did at all. They thought I was crazy. But here's another thing that occurred during this time too. So since 2010, so it's now been 13 years, I've not had a single lupus flare up, side effect, symptom, whatever, nothing. They told me once you have lupus, it's incurable. It's a chronic disease that you will have for the rest of your life. The other thing is, through lupus, it was attacking my kidneys, and I had a lot of scarring on my kidneys. I always had protein in my urine, and I was told I will forever have protein in my urine, because kidneys, once they're damaged, don't heal. All we can do is manage it to prevent it from getting worse, but they will never get better. Well, what I can tell you is, about 2 years ago, I started noticing in my protein results that I had no protein in my urine. It was at a 0, which is where a healthy kidney operates. So I had my doctor look into it, and sure enough, my kidneys are operating great. They don't show any sign of damage, which they said was impossible also. Um, so it is my full belief that the Lord healed me. Now, did he just put me in remission? That's possible. It's up to him whether he keeps me in remission or takes me out of it. But there's no factors they can identify as lupus in my body anymore. So I believe it was a complete healing that he did for me. And I believe fasting was the tool he used to do it. I can tell you this, fasting was never my first choice. Like I said, I didn't even believe in fasting. I know it's something in the Bible. I know people who've done it. But to me, I'm like, you're skipping a meal. Why? You're just tormenting yourself. Just eat. Who cares? But I can say I think it's what healed me through the Lord. So that's my experience with lupus, with kidney damage. I've been now running. Oh, and the other factor is because I was on medicines that are really bad for you. You're like the prednisone I was on, some other things. You're not supposed to be on them for more than 2 years straight because there's a cumulative effect of the damage it can cause to your body in making your bones brittle. Over time, it can cause damage. Well, every time they try to take me off those meds, I would have another flare up. So for 23 years, I was on these medicines that I was told I shouldn't be on more than 2. And so my doctor was a little concerned, like, we really need to do a bone density scan on you just to see, how bad your bones are after 23 years of being on all these meds. And we did the bone density scan, and my bones came back as being actually more dense than the average person. So through some miracle, obviously from the Lord, he protected me from losing bone mass throughout all of these things. Since then, I've started running. I've done 5 marathons. All throughout, I also did, when I was going through lupus back in high school, I still was on the wrestling team. When I got to college at University of Michigan, I was on their rowing team. I did crew. If you don't know what crew is, it's those long 8-man boats, and each guy has an oar on each side, and then you have the guy sitting at the front of the boat who is or he's technically at the back of the boat. We are all facing with our backs to the front, so we can't see where he's going. But he's called the coxswain. The coxswain sits at the back of the boat, looking forward and steering the boat and keeping us in rhythm. So I did that. They told me I wasn't going to be able to do that because of the medicines I was on. I did it. So I have a history of overcoming. Now, believe me, none of it is me. It's all God, 100% God. So keep that in mind. I'm not here to say I'm great at all. It's God that's great. But just like with those things, my health is in his hands, and where things go will be up to him. Whether or not he decides to heal me fully or not, he's still in control, and he's ultimately the decision maker and protector for me. So I just want to put that out there as well. But our health is precious. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the day to day. There's a lot of crap going on in the world today, and I get wrapped up in it too. A lot of evil in the world today. A lot of evil. And when you're a type A personality, it can be very hard to sit back and just say, okay, God, I don't need to handle this. This is for you to do. And maybe that's part of the lesson in this, is I need to sit back a little bit more and not try to force things as much as I have in the past, and just say, what's the phrase? Let go and let God. So maybe that's what I got to do more of. I don't know. But, God gives us our innate abilities and talents. And I think I am given them for certain things. But I think the risk to doing those things is you start becoming too self-sufficient sometimes, even though I go to church, I know my Bible, I read it constantly. I pray constantly. I think you can also get wrapped up in your own abilities, and sometimes you can make your own abilities your own God. So, so it's always a good reminder to take a step back sometimes, and even if you think you know everything, which I can be guilty of, um, it's okay to let things unfold sometimes. So, anyways, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I hope, if anybody's watching, and it doesn't have to just be a heart attack. If your gut instinct is telling you something's wrong, listen to it. Find someone who can advise you. Um, cost of healthcare is a real thing. But there are things like GoFundMe and other things. Reach out to people Make sure they're in the loop to know, at least, even if you're not going to the doctor yet. Make sure they know what you're feeling, because you need people keeping an eye on you. Because what if you're by yourself and an event happens, and it could have been very possible for you to be saved, but nobody knew you were going through something. So it's okay to talk to friends and family. It's okay to reach out to people, make a phone call. Even if you can't afford to go in, at least make the phone call to the doctor to try to, because sometimes I know there were times when I was without insurance where I've had doctors be able to come up with creative ways of still getting you in. So don't let the current cost be your deciding factor on whether or not you get help. So that's it on my end. I'm going to end the show a little bit early since I'm by myself here. But Brett will be back. We're going to be back in our regular show next week. I've been watching the Ahsoka series for Star Wars. Been enjoying that. Looking forward to see where that's going. Brett and I will cover that. We'll recap the Colorado Springs Comic-Con he was at. We've got some movies and all that. We typically cover more fun topics, but since so many of you are my friends online here, I know the rumor mill has been, people been hearing bits and pieces of what happened to me. So I thought this might be a good platform to just cover it as a whole topic. So once again, if you're in the Michigan area and you need a realtor, Team Titans of Real Estate right there. It's myself, Scott Zambelli, and Jill Webler. We're your Team Titans. We take good care of you. And even if you're not looking to buy or sell in the Michigan area, we have a great network of specialists all over the country. So if you're looking to relocate or move somewhere else and you don't know somebody, give us a call anyways. We can hook you up with our relocation department, and they can find you an expert in your area for the type of house you're looking for. So once again, Team Titans of Real Estate. We're at Realty Executives Hometown, and our names are Scott Zambelli and Jill Webler, and our team hotline 586-232-5144. God bless everyone, and have a good day. Bye.